Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton. They're about to go head-to-head to decide who gets to run the country for the next 3 years. But to do that, they won't be engaging in competitive martial arts. It's actually up to us, the Australian people, to vote for them at a federal election. It's a big day when everyone in the country who's over 18 and enrolled to vote gets to have a say in who they want to be in charge by filling out these ballot papers and then popping them into these big boxes behind me to be counted. In Australia, we don't actually vote for the Prime Minister. We vote for somebody to represent our local area, or electorate, in the lower house. And the leader of the party with the most people in the lower house ends up becoming our PM. We also vote for senators to represent our state or territory, with half of the Senate seats coming up for grabs every 3 years. Now, the big question everyone is asking is, when will this election actually happen? Well, we can't give you an exact date because that's up to this guy, but he does have a few rules that he has to follow. In Australia, elections happen every 3 years, and with the last election taking place in 2022, the Prime Minister has to pick a date before his 3 years in power are up. But he can't leave it too long because a fair bit needs to happen before then. There has to be a minimum of 33 days between the PM calling the election and people actually voting. Once he's got his date in mind, the PM will give the Governor-General a ring and let her know. Then it's her job to tell Parliament to wrap things up, and everyone in the House of Representatives is dissolved, meaning no more work. At that point, the government goes into caretaker mode. This is a time when no new policy decisions are made, and things like entering into big contracts and important discussions with other countries don't usually happen. But these aren't hard and fast rules. They're just what usually happens, and previous governments have agreed to follow them. The next thing the Governor-General has to do within the next 10 days is sign an important legal document known as an election writ, which has a bunch of important details on it, like the date of the election, the date the roll closes, and when candidates need to submit their nominations by. The writs also order the Australian Electoral Commission, or AEC, to begin the big job of running the election. The AEC has a big long list of everyone in Australia who's enrolled to vote, all 17.9 million of them. And after the writs are issued, Aussies only have 7 days to make sure they're on the roll and their details are up to date. Now comes one of the most hectic parts of any election, for politicians at least: campaigning. Politicians start to pop up all over the place, on huge billboards, TV and radio ads, even on your feeds. It also starts to feel like we see the PM and opposition leader on the news every single day. Usually at events that are planned by politicians, where they can talk about whatever they want, and journalists get to ask them questions. In fact, some journos even get to ride on board the Polly's buses. And as you can imagine, all manner of odd things are caught on camera during the campaign.
That wasn't a deer, Prime Minister.
Then 3 days before the election, everything goes quiet for the pre-election media blackout. At least on mainstream media. On social media, you can bet you'll still be seeing a lot of these guys. And finally, the voting. We're 18-odd million Aussies who are on the roll rock up to schools, churches and halls with their kids and their dogs to cast their vote. And while they're at it, they can usually pick up one of these delicious-looking sausages. I'm kind of hungry now.